Hello YouTube, my name is Nero, and today I have some Call of Duty Ghosts in this week's episode of Dear Nero, which of course is the weekly series here on my channel where subscribers sent me in fan mail and or fan questions, and I do my best to go ahead and answer them. You may be thinking to yourself, Nero, Dear Nero goes up on Wednesday. This is Tuesday. What are you doing? Well, tomorrow is actually the reveal for Advanced Warfare's co-op, and take that, games news industry, you're not screwing me over again, because for whatever reason, all of the news and all the interesting stuff within, Call of Duty or just the gaming industry in general, all of it seems to come out on days where I have a scheduled video. I only have 2 scheduled videos every week. I have Chem Strike Saturday, and I have Dear Nero on Wednesdays, and for whatever reason, all the news comes out on Wednesdays or Saturdays, it seems like, and it is just rude. It's rude, games industry, so Dear Nero's going up a day early this week, and yeah, tomorrow we're going to be covering what we find out about Advanced Warfare's co-op mode. For the first time, we're finally going to figure out what it is, and that's going to be pretty cool. And I'm assuming there's going to be a trailer, there's going to be some gameplay shown and whatnot, so we're going to be talking about that tomorrow. But for today, we've got Dear Nero, and the gameplay is kind of relevant, I guess. So, with tomorrow being the reveal of Advanced Warfare's co-op, well, I figured we would do some Call of Duty Ghost co-op, and it's not even co-op; it's just me playing by myself. And this is actually my second game ever of playing Extinction. I played it once back in November when the game first came out, and I didn't dig it. And to be honest, I still don't really dig it. It's just not for me. It's just not for me. Something about it I don't like. But yeah, this is my second game. This is the first I ever made it in Extinction, so hopefully you guys all sit back, relax, and enjoy that. There's just a lot of things I don't like about it as compared to zombies. I like zombies where you're just surviving as many rounds as possible, whereas Extinction, it's more or less move point to point to point to point. There's like a set start and end if I have that right on Extinction. I don't really like that as much. I like just being like, go as far as possible. I guess some people like the open-ended nature of zombies like me, and there's other people I think they kind of like this straight, narrow, linear path that Extinction kind of gives you, where go here, go here, go here, go here, and defend the objective and do whatever. And I don't know, this isn't for me. But we got some co-op gameplay because I figured it was relevant because tomorrow we find out the co-op for the next Call of Duty game. So we're going to be doing that tomorrow. Let's hop into the questions here for this week's episode of Dear Nero. First question, he's going to write, Dear Nero, I've been watching gameplay of Advanced Warfare, and it looks like they're going to have Infinity Ward style health, which means that people are going to die really easily. Do you think this will be a problem? Andrew from Texas. So Andrew, a lot of people have been speculating about that. A lot of people have been looking at the gameplay and they're like, wow, they do die pretty quickly. And I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that. And that is coming from somebody who is a hardcore Treyarch fan, someone who believes Call of Duty should have Treyarch style health where it takes a lot longer to kill somebody because it requires more skill. I like that system a lot better. But with Advanced Warfare, the fact that we've got jetpacks now, man, the fact that we're boosting around and we're boost dodging, we're boost jumping, we're doing all kinds of crazy stuff, people are constantly flying around. Can you imagine if it took a long time to kill those people as they're able to double jump throughout the air and then you just kind of like fly away and all this crazy stuff? It would be a real pain in the ass in that game if it had kind of a high health system. So I'm actually happy that it's Infinity Ward style health. That way if someone, you see somebody, you start shooting at them, chances are they're going to die and they're not just going to be able to, strafe around your bullets and jump up and double boost and do all kinds of crazy stuff to get away from you and stuff like that. So it's probably going to have Infinity Ward style health. I've noticed that too in watching gameplay and stuff, and I figure that's probably for the best, because can you imagine trying to kill people that have all these kind of crazy mobility abilities? That sounds weird, mobility abilities, but can you imagine trying to kill them when they have a lot of health? That doesn't sound very good to me, so I'm kind of happy that it's going to be the Infinity Ward style health system. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, do you prefer creating an emblem or unlocking emblems? Riley from Canada! The great Riley from Canada has returned. If you're a longtime fan of Dear Nero, you know this guy is kind of a legend on the show because he's always sending in questions. And he hasn't been for a long time now, but he finally has sent in a new one. Talking about creating an emblem versus unlocking emblems. I think that's kind of the Infinity Ward style versus the Treyarch style, more or less. In Infinity Ward games, generally, you just get your things rewarded to you. You do different kind of challenges. You do whatever. You unlock yourself an emblem. Whereas in the Treyarch games, you can just make your own emblem. And I think everybody across the board, why would you not like like the create your own emblem system. In Black Ops 2, I've got my Borderlands 2 logo. I got my vault symbol right there on all my guns, and it looks really, really cool. I liked it back in Black Ops, where you could put together your own system there. It's really cool. It adds for a lot of creativity. Of course, there's a lot of perverted ones and a lot of racist ones and stuff like that, but, welcome to the internet. Welcome to where, 15-year-old kids can run wild with no consequence of their actions. So you're going to see stuff like that. The best you can do is just report those offensive ones that have, like, swastikas and stuff, and, report those ones, hopefully get them deleted, or possibly get the player temporarily banned from Black Ops 2 or stuff like that. But yeah, I totally think that creating an emblem is way cooler than unlocking an emblem. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, in an earlier upload, you said that you would not play Destiny. Why is this, as it is considered by a lot of people that Destiny is pretty similar to Borderlands? Richard from Australia. So Richard, the reason I'm not into Destiny, the reason, just looking at the stuff of Destiny, even now after all the stuff has come out, a lot of people are talking about all the cool features of Destiny, all that stuff is just from different games all put together, And that's not, taking a bash against Destiny, that's just saying that a lot of games are this way. A lot of people are talking about, oh, the strikes in Destiny are so hard and fun. I'm like, yeah, those are dungeons. Those have been a part of MMOs for like 20 years. They're like, oh, dude, this raid came out. It's so ridiculously hard, and it took like the first group of people to beat it like 8 hours to do it. And I'm sitting there thinking like, raids have been a part of MMO games for like ever. That's not a new thing. And in fact, raids in like World of Warcraft, like back in vanilla, used to be a lot harder than in 8 hours to be able to beat a raid. It would take people several days, like fully grouped people, some of the best PvE players in the game and the best guilds, and it would take them several days. They wouldn't even, like, the fact that it was beaten on the first day, which I'm pretty sure Destiny's first raid was beaten on the first day. The fact that that happened on the first day is kind of a sign that they aren't as hard as they could be, because like in things like World of Warcraft, it takes people several days. I think it actually took weeks. Maybe it was in the Burning Crusade. I'm not sure. Somewhere, one of the eras in World of Warcraft, I was looking up stuff because I just started playing World of Warcraft this year, so I want to learn about all the stuff that's happened over the past 10 years. And apparently, in one of the expansions, it took people like 2 weeks or something like that to be able to clear the first raid or something like that, because it was really, really hard. The mechanics were that difficult to get around. I see people talking a lot on Destiny about different kinds of systems they have, like, oh, I have to go farm rep to be able to get reputation with this, and I'm like, farm and rep, that's not new. And then just everything about Destiny is stuff that's already happened in other MMO games. And if I were looking for an MMO style game, which of course Destiny's not an MMO, it's an online persistent, but if I were looking for an MMO style game like Destiny, I'd probably play it, but I'm not looking for that, because I got 2 MMO games I like. I like Elder Scrolls Online, and of course I like WoW. So I'm not looking for that kind of game. I don't know, just something about it. People like the PvP. Well, all games have PvP. I don't know. Destiny doesn't offer anything new or anything fresh. A lot of people that are Call of Duty fans, they're like, oh, this is so new and innovative. It's like, no, it's new and innovative to you, because all you play is Call of Duty. If you play other things in Call of Duty, Destiny itself is not really anything super duper special. It's just a kind of a new twist on some things. So for me, Destiny is not the game for me. I've looked up stuff on it. I've heard people talk about it. Hell, every one of my friends is playing it. It's just not for me. I'd rather just play WoW. So I don't know. It's not a game for me. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, I'm looking forward to Advanced Warfare's release, but I haven't pre-ordered it yet because I'm scared off by the supply system. I'm afraid that if the system is truly random, a player will receive an incredibly overpowered gun that looks good on paper but actually does mess up the game balance. If there are a lot of gun variations, a few players can unlock these guns and they will become almost unstoppable. Do you think this could be a problem? Thanks, Jordan from Texas. So Jordan's talking about the fact there's like 350 something different total weapon combinations in Advanced Warfare from day one. Basically, if you have your standard gun, let's just take a Call of Duty, an older gun like the MP5, for example. Let's say you unlock the MP5 in Advanced Warfare, which that gun's not in there, but work with me. It's just an example. They basically have battle packs. If you remember battle packs from Battlefield 4, basically if you do a challenge, if you just do something or other, you end up unlocking this battle pack. Then you open it up, and inside of it can be XP boosts. Inside of it can be attachments for guns. Inside of it can just be random stuff. And they have that exact same system in Advanced Warfare, but now you can unlock variations of guns. So once again, we're using the MP5 in this example. Let's say you have your standard MP5, you get yourself a little battle pack thing, or whatever they're called, supply drops, whatever thing they named it in Advanced Warfare. You get your little battle pack, and you open it up, and you have the MP5 K7R something. I don't know. It's just a variation of the MP5, right? Where you look at it, it's the exact same. It looks exactly the same as the MP5, but it has 1 more damage, but it has 1 less reload speed, or something like that. There's just variations of the guns, and that's really all it is. And they don't really change around the stats of the guns too much, but they do make it so if you want to change around some things, you can. Adds a little bit more customization to the game, but aside from that, I don't see anything really big about it. I mean, there's not going to be a super crazy unstoppable. When you use the word unstoppable, I feel like I need to cut you off there. There's no such thing as an unstoppable class in Call of Duty aside from the one-man army danger close grenade launchers from Modern Warfare 2. That's quite literally unstoppable. There's no way to avoid dying to those things. But if you're talking about like an actual gun and not just a stupid perk combination, a stupid attachment combination that Infinity Ward refuses to fix to this day, if you want to talk about actual guns, the most overpowered gun in the history of Call of Duty was the MP40 back in World at War. And that gun, oh god, dude. And here's the thing. It's not even just because I'm a YouTuber, but it's just from like a moral standpoint. Once a gun is deemed stupidly overpowered like that, I can't use it. I can't use it. I don't have fun using it. Like, I may have used the MP40. Like, back when the game first came out, I remember I was using the Thompson. It was the first submachine gun you unlocked. I liked the way it looks. It was an American gun, and all that. I liked it. I thought it was a really good gun to use in a World War II game. I had a lot of fun with it. My cousin Nick, though, the guy that got me into Call of Duty in the first place, he's like, you know what? You should try out this MP40. It kicks like a mother, but this gun is ridiculously powerful. Like, it kills in 2 or 3 shots at, like, all ranges. And it's a submachine gun. And I tried it out, and I'm like, dude, this gun kicks so much, because my playstyle was mainly like aim down sights, take people out. But dude, you don't even need aim down sights with the MP40. You just hip fire the whole thing, man. Just hip fire that MP40. Doesn't matter how far away they are. You're going to kill them in 2 to 3 shots. Get a round drum on there that gives it 64 rounds in a single magazine. You don't even need stopping power like all the other SMGs do. You can just use Juggernaut to give you more health. And you're still just as above and beyond anyone else, even though you're not using stopping power. That gun was stupid. That gun was ridiculously powerful. And even then, it wasn't unstoppable. To this day, I still shat on kids who use the MP40 with my Tommy gun or with my Type 100 or with my PPSH, even though the PPSH is kind of weak. But yeah, I mean, there's no such thing as an unstoppable gun in Call of Duty. All this new system is being implemented into Advanced Warfare is going to do is add a little bit more customization without us really actually doing anything. Like, we're going to unlock, like I said, a new MP5, and that MP5 is going to have, +2 to reload speed, but we're going to -1 to fire rate or something like that. It's basically going to make it so you can have a little bit more customization, make it feel like you're really customizing your experience, but in reality, it's not really going to be a big deal. It's going to still more or less perform the same, because that's what Call of Duty is. Every gun in Call of Duty has always been viable. Some guns, of course, are a little bit better than others, but, all guns are viable in most situations. So, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, what map would you like to see recreated in Call of Duty, like how they remade Shipment or Firing Range? And what weapon would you like to see brought back but improved in the next Call of Duty? Alex from Washington. So Alex, man, it's tough, man. There's a lot of maps I like. You look at my top 10 Call of Duty maps, and a lot of the maps I would just like to have them be able to remade and just throw them back into Call of Duty. Here's the thing, though. I would like a lot more World at War and Call of Duty 4 maps to come back into the Call of Duty franchise. As we sit now, we're going into Advanced Warfare. It's 2014, and in a few months, it's going to be 2015. Call of Duty 4 came out in 2007. World at War came out in 2008. I've been playing Call of Duty for a very, very long time now, and people haven't played those games. And I don't expect them to. They're very old games. Going back there, you're not going to get nearly the same experience that we got back in 2007, 2008 when the games were in their prime. You go back there now, the only game modes you can play are Team Deathmatch because the population on those games is so low, and chances are you're going to run into a hacker of some sort. And if there aren't any hackers, there's going to be old nostalgia nerds like me that are just running through you because we've played those maps for 7 years, and you're going in there for the first time. It's a tough experience to go back to COD 4 and to World at War if you're a newer player. And I think because of that, a lot of players haven't played it. Chances are, if you're watching this video, you probably haven't played it. Of course, there's some of you guys that have, but most of you guys that are watching this video haven't played Call of Duty 4 and haven't played Call of Duty World at War. I take this as an example when I made my perfect Call of Duty video. And the whole basis of that video was I listed all the maps, all the guns, and all the kill streaks from Call of Duty 4 all the way up to Call of Duty Ghost. And I put them all there in straw polls. You guys could vote for your favorite ones so that we kind of put together a perfect Call of Duty game with 20 guns and 20 maps, and I forget how many kill streaks. I think we had like 15 kill streaks or something. And not a single Call of Duty 4 or World of War map was actually featured in that perfect Call of Duty. And that's not my doing. That's the voting by you guys, by the subscribers, the fan base. You know, you guys all voted, and all the other maps, like from like Modern Warfare 3 and Black Ops 2 and Call of Duty Ghost, stuff like that, all those maps were way more popular, and they made it into the game. And all the World of War ones and the COD 4 ones and, you know, Modern Warfare 2 ones even, they didn't even make it into the game because you guys just haven't played those games. They're so old. So I would like more World at War and COD 4 maps be recreated into Call of Duty, because for your hardcore fans like me, that's going to be an awesome thing. We're going to be excited to see those maps back and see them be able to be played. You know, you think of, they brought back Courtyard from World at War as Dig in Black Ops 2. They brought back Shipment, and they made it Showtime. I'll never forgive it. They ruined Shipment. They ruined it by adding the outside, adding the random death elements to it. But regardless, I'd like to see them bring back more maps like that, because it's kind of like what I talked about in yesterday's video. It pleases the hardcore fans like me that have been around forever, and the people that aren't the hardcore fans, the people that just kind of play casually or whatever, they, you know, don't really pay too much attention, they're not going to care. What do they care if it's a remake? It's a new map. That's all they care about, you know? So I think it's kind of a win-win for everybody. Now, I'd like to see more World of War ones and more COD 4 ones brought back in. What weapon would I like to bring back? This is, you know, a question I've answered a million times, so I'll answer it regardless. I'd like to bring back like the Tommy gun from World of War. Something about the Thompson, it's one of my favorite guns. I just like it. It's a really cool one. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, in Hearthstone, what's your favorite epic or legendary card? And also, what is the highest rank you've ever gotten in ranked? Mario from Columbus. So Mario, favorite legendary. Shit. I guess it would either be Grommash Hellscream or Ragnaros the Fire Lord. Probably one of those two. I have them both. I use them both. They're both pretty integral parts of my Control Warrior deck. I like them both. Karen Bloodhoof's pretty great, just because I like the lore of Karen Bloodhoof. Blizzard is a bunch of assholes. Let me take this time to let you guys know about Blizzard, how much assholes they are. So, like you guys know, I never played like World of Warcraft or anything like that. Ever. I just never got into it. Just looking at it, like, yeah, MMO, that sounds alright, but, you know, I don't like the setting, I don't like the cartoony look or whatever. Then Hearthstone came out, and everybody and their mother starts playing Hearthstone, myself included. And after playing Hearthstone for a while, I'm just sitting there like, you know, I like this card here I got. I got the legendary for the warrior deck, Grommash Hellscream. I noticed he's got the same last name as Garrosh Hellscream, the hero of the warriors. I'm like, I wonder what the lore is behind that. So I kind of look it up. I'm like, so who is Grommash? Who is Garrosh? Are they brothers? Is one the father of the other? What's going on with that, you know? And I look it up, and I start reading about the damn lore behind the people, and before you know it, I end up downloading the trial to World of Warcraft, and I start seeing all these cards that are used in Hearthstone in World of Warcraft, and it's like, god damn, this is cool. And I think that's Blizzard's plan all along. That's their plan all along. They release a free-to-play card game with nothing but characters from World of Warcraft, and eventually, you kind of want to learn about those characters, so you start looking up some stuff on them, and then before you know it, you're downloading the trial and you're trying out World of Warcraft. They're a bunch of assholes. That's what they are. Smart marketing, I guess is what it is. But yeah, I guess it would either be Ragnaros or Grommash is my favorite legendaries. What's the highest rank I ever made into ranked? 13, which isn't super high. You guys will know the ranking system. It starts you off at 25, I believe, and then you can go from rank 25 all the way to rank 1, and then once you get to rank 1, you can go even one higher than that, you can become a legend, and then if you get legend, you get a special card back, and you're kind of always, you know, kind of immortalized as a legend in Hearthstone. Highest I ever made was 13, which isn't super high, but it's definitely way higher than a lot of people make. They actually just released recently a bunch of things talking about how you're better at ranked than you think you are. If you've made it to rank 15 in ranked or higher, then you're within the top 25% of all Hearthstone players. If you made it to rank 10 or higher, I think you're in the top 7.5% or something like that. If you made it in the top... if you made it to rank 5 or higher, then you're in the top 2%. And if you made it up to legend, you're part of like 0.5% of players that have actually made it that far. So I don't know. I'm in the top 25% apparently, and that's pretty nice. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, in some of your videos you talked about how you've been playing WoW, and I was wondering if you've ever thought about starting a guild of subscribers and friends. It would be good because you have enough subs to join, and then basically at any time you could run 25-man raids. Jake from Canada. Jake, I don't think you understand my fan base is not World of Warcraft based, and the idea of putting like a guild together in that game so we can all like run instances and dungeons and raids together, it'd be like, I don't think it'd work out that well, because one, everyone would have to re-roll onto my server or pay for a server transfer to get to the server I'm on. Two, people would have to actually play quite a bit, and three, I'd have to be counting on the fact that a lot of my subscriber base actually plays the game when I know for a fact they don't. So that just wouldn't work. Warcraft's a fun game. I recommend you guys trying it if you guys are interested in stuff like that. But it's a fun game, but it's the kind of thing that I just kind of play by myself, believe it or not, even though it's an MMO game. All my friends started playing it, and like all my friends do, because they're all a bunch of flaky bitches, they all end up stopping playing. They all end up jumping onto a new game. Then a new game comes out, they jump to a new game. They're not sticky. They're not sticky is what my friends are. They have gamer ADD. They can't stick to a game ever. So I basically just play by myself in my spare time, mainly like late at night or something like that, when I'm winding down before I go to sleep or something like that. It's a fun game. It's a fun game. Next and final question, he writes, Dear Nero, if the nuclear is only a hidden kill streak in Advanced Warfare, how will you adapt to Chemstrike Saturday in Advanced Warfare? Well, that is a good question. So we haven't really learned anything about Advanced Warfare having a Moab or having a Chemstrike or a tactical nuke or anything of that nature. All that we've seen so far is, hey, we have a nuclear medal. That's all we've seen is that one nuclear medal from that one picture. And I guess it's not even really confirmed, but that's even in there, right? If there is only a nuclear, we could continue Chemstrike Saturday, or we could not. I guess it depends on what you guys want to do with it. Chemstrike Saturday is, well, it's definitely the most work I put into the video every week, because there's lots of editing, lots of viewing, lots of downloading, and, uploading, of course. It takes for freaking ever. Chemstrike Saturday takes a long time for me to put together every week, even though it's not my gameplay. But I'm willing to do that if you guys are willing to watch more nuclear stuff. If you guys want to see nuclear gameplays in Advanced Warfare, something about it just isn't as interesting, even though it's the exact same thing. A nuclear is in fact better than a Chemstrike, because a nuclear is a 30 gun streak, whereas a Chemstrike can be 24 if you're using hardline. A nuclear is always better, but the reason people like the Chemstrike is because you get to kind of keep track of them, you get to call in it, you get to kill off the enemy team, you kind of get a reward for it, And one of the things that I think that Sledgehammer Games should do, and if they're not doing it, they should do it. A lot of people are saying that the nuclear, if you guys don't want to have like a Moab streak or a Chemstrike streak at 25 that kills off the enemy team, make it the nuclear. Make the nuclear kill off the enemy team. Make the nuclear give us a little nuke, and then we pull up the enemy team and do something like that. Make it a 30 gun streak. If someone gets a 30 gun streak on you, you deserve to get killed. At least once. So that's something they should do. They should totally do it. But if you guys are willing to watch a nuclear something series, I don't even know what I would call it. If you guys would be willing to watch that, I'd be willing to keep on doing it. That's fine by me. I mean, I'm not the one getting the gameplay. I do all the editing. I do all the viewing. And God, my Saturdays are the only day of the week I really feel like I work, because from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep, I'm doing stuff for Chemstrike Saturday. It takes a very long time. But if you guys are willing to watch, I'll be willing to do that again next year. And then again, if you guys don't want to, we can just do what we did a few years back. I remember during Modern Warfare 3, we had Moab Monday and we had Moab Friday. I had two different Moab series. They're similar to Chemstrike Saturday, but they were for Moabs in Modern Warfare 3. And I did two of those a week. And once Black Ops 2 came out, there was no more Moab. We could have did nuclear, but we didn't. We just didn't decide to keep that going. We just kind of ended off Moab Monday and Moab Friday, and that was that. And then once Call of Duty Ghosts came out, then we decided, hey, they got Chemstrikes in this game. They're pretty similar to the Moab. Let's start up a series similar to Moab Monday and Moab Friday. We'll call it Chemstrike Saturday, and we'll upload 2 or 3 of these every single week. And that's what we ended up doing. It worked out pretty well. So will we have it in Advanced Warfare? I don't know. We'll have to see. I wonder how many people are actually going to be able to get nuclears in that game. I wonder if we have to wait a few weeks before we start up the series or not, because it's pretty hard to get a nuclear. And to get so many of them that we can get 2 or 3 of them up every single week from the day of launch, that can be pretty tough. So we'll have to see if people can get the gameplays. We'll have to see if people have the interest to watch them in the first place. So I guess that's all up in the air. Well, I hope you guys all enjoyed this episode of Dear Nero, and if you did, please be sure to leave a rating where you guys feel the video deserves. You guys may notice it's a little bit shorter of an episode than usual, but the reason for that is a lot of the questions that were sent in this week were all really just questions I've answered a million times, or they were just kind of silly questions, or even questions I answered as much as last week. They're just stuff that really repeat based. So make sure to send in your guys' questions. I want next week's episode of Dear Nero to be a super long one. I want it to be like one of the ones that goes on for 45 minutes or something like that. It all just depends on you guys. Dear Nero is another one of those series where it's completely depends on you guys. You guys send in a bunch of good questions. This week there weren't a lot of questions, so it's a rather short episode. So if you guys want a really long one, be sure to send your guys' questions for next week, and we'll be sure to do that. If you're unaware of how to send a message here on YouTube, you go to my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/NerosCinema. You go to the About section, and then right there's a send message button. There you go. That's all you gotta do to send a message. I'll go through them all at the end of next week and answer them. That's how we do Dear Nero. So hope you guys all enjoyed this episode of Dear Nero, and if you did, please be sure to leave a rating. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day.